Hello. Happy brunch. Happy brunch. Welcome to our big show. This is the brunch show. It is our big show. Yes. What makes it our big show? Well, we invite you, the audience, from the four corners of the earth to join us at our brunch table. This brunch has been created to welcome all of you who wish to share tables and break bread together. So please let us come together. Let us gather up our stuff and take a seat. Take a seat, my children, uh, my beloveds. Yes, my dearly beloveds. Yes. We are gathered here today to have a rollicking good time. Yes. Welcome to brunch. Oops, gotta mute it. So, people are finding their way to the stream. I know many of you are on a 3-day weekend, and that sounds like that is pretty gosh darn cool. We are happy to see you here. Um, Please tell us as you take a seat and you join us here at our brunch table. Be sure and say hi to everyone at the table. This table extends to the four corners of the earth. We only have one rule, and that is be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. We are not kind to Nazis. Uh, We are not kind to terrorists, but if you're a nice person, these times you have to say that. But if you're a kind person, we welcome you here. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. Please take a seat. Tell us where you're coming from, what you eating, what you drinking, and welcome to you. So, who are you? Where are you coming from? What you eating? What you drinking? We welcome you to our brunch table. As you can see, I have prepared for myself a lovely pot of tea. This is the I think this has become my favorite tea. This is the Berries Gold Irish tea, and I got to enjoying it when I got to visit Ireland last fall. Is that right? About 6 months ago. Y'all remember when I was in Ireland? Did everyone get a chance? I think I shared my pictures from Ireland, didn't I? I don't know. It was a rather lovely trip, and we were trying to. What is going on there? Something trapped in there? I'm seeing something flying around inside my. I think it's a frustrated bug or something. Um, yeah, so I like to travel. Here's the picture I was showing you all of my time at Nara. The that's where the deer live. It's rather nice, but yeah, I was in Ireland for a couple of weeks with a close friend of mine. Let me see if I. Here's my trip to Sweden. That was kind of fun. Yeah, did y'all see that? um, yeah, Sweden. Uh, Here is my friend Francis having an olive. Yes. Beautiful limerick, I believe is what they call that. Yes. You can see we took a lot of pictures of cows. This is the beautiful Irish countryside in the fall. Great time to visit. Spring and fall are the best times to visit. As you can see, they are doing what cows do best. Can you all see this okay? Let me just make sure. Yes, you are. Okay, goody. So this is the trip to Ireland. My advice is, if you're going to Ireland, it is one of the most expensive places you can visit. So you could Airbnb or try and do house sitters or something like that because it is such an expensive trip. Look at this. This is where you go if you want to kiss the Blarney Stone. Yes, where all those old, there's nothing comforting about Irish castles. They're cold. They were heavily fortressed to keep people from getting attacked. And people went to the privy by sticking their bum over the side. That's how they, here I am having some food there. Yes, okay. Oh, I think this is my trip to Mexico. Just got back from Merida. And Merida, Mexico, here is a very nice restaurant. I was just walking down the street in Merida, and look at that lovely non-kosher, of course, a shrimp salad with some nice grilled pear. Absolutely delicious. I try to eat. This was the Nakua restaurant. I just wanted to give a shout out to Nakua. And I said that I would mention them because I am doing a review and a frugal travel video. I had a gourmet meal for $20. Of course, you also want to give a nice tip. But you can see that it's just beautiful there. Here I am, happy and satisfied after my lovely lunch. Got a nice picture there. Tried to get the background there. Just a beautiful decor at the Nakua, and they specialize in wild meats. Like they had deer and rabbit, and I never eat that stuff. I just had a latte afterwards and shrimp salad. So check out if you are in Merida. I think it's going to be a very pleasant experience for you. It's a Mayan menu, I guess, because these are the foods that were not domesticated. The wild boar. I'm not going to eat that, but wild boar. And let me see what I've got going on here. I better turn this down. I'm going to get in trouble for the music. But there we go. We've got the Nakua. And look at this menu: sea bass, venison, burgers, roasted pork, stuffed pork. I think that they're using the wild boar, duck. It was just interesting that they had this menu of octopus, everything. They wanted to have it fresh. So literally everything is an animal that is wild. Everything. Can you imagine getting a gourmet wild food of the Yucatan? That's wild boar. And it's a white-tailed deer. I'm not going to eat that either because that is my Native American totem. So, I looked through this and I thought, well, the turkey, wild turkey, absolutely recommend it. Lime soup, the turkey broth flavor, lime, excellent. The turkey was excellent. I highly recommend the turkey. And, I love seafood, and they had a lot of seafood options. They also had a lot of pasta options. Everything is wild harvested. And that's what they specialize in, is the original indigenous food of the area. Look at that. All those beautiful handcrafted cheeses also. I did not partake because I wasn't that hungry, and I try to watch my girlish figure. But man, oh man, highly recommend. Special shout out to everybody over at Nakua Restaurant for such excellent service. And I had a wonderful time there. So yeah, I try to get out. I try to get to your neck of the woods. If you are not from the United States, tell me where you are. Maybe I'll visit you on my next outing. I also decided that I would join something which is called House Hunters, and that's for house sitters, and that's also pet sitters. And what you can do is people look for someone to watch their animals, watch their home, and in exchange you have a free place to live. And they're all over the world, so you could go stay for a month in Porto as long as you feed the dog. Or there were hundreds and hundreds of listings for Great Britain. So if you want to see Scotland, England, Ireland, all you have to do is get yourself a plane ticket, and you're not going to be paying $200 a night for a hotel. Your hotel is free. And some people will even pay you. Cheers, everyone. All right. So be sure and tell me who you are, what you eating, what you drinking, where you coming from, and what you want to talk about here on the channel. We are here to listen. I'm just going to go ahead and put my tea tray down so that we can have a nice conversation. Do any of you like to travel as much as I do? I thought my traveling days were over because I had would get sick every time I traveled, and then I found out that the problem was my neck was getting sore and it was causing vertigo. And so I just started bringing one of these ergonomic neck pillows. They're not particularly expensive, and some anti-nausea medication, and it took the problem away completely. And now I feel very comfortable in my chair because I've got this thing there. And I take the anti-nausea stuff. I fall asleep, and when I wake up, I'm in another country. It's fantastic. Eat a good meal. Yeah. So that's what's going on with me. Let's go ahead and turn the camera around and be sure to greet all of you. Hello, Joel Tilson. As many of you know, Joel Tilson is the official floor director for the show. If you're frustrated or you feel like you need to be heard, be sure and ask Joel to get my attention, and he will make sure I see the question. You know, I just feel like this whole thing about Ghislaine or Ghislaine's talking, then talk already. Why does it have to be some big thing with the FBI? The FBI knows everybody that was on the plane already. He was an informant for the intelligence agencies. He used to get together with Bill Clinton at the White House. I mean, do we really have to have a long, drawn out FBI? Come on, it's all BS. They're protecting judges. They're protecting politicians. We all know it, and it's disgusting. So I feel like if she has the names, if she wants to do the right thing, and clearly she doesn't because she's a pedophile and a creep, just like her ex-boyfriend. So I just think it's all BS. Hello, Sue. Good to see you. Sue Malik in the house. Joel Tilson writes that the enforcer is reporting about shootings throughout Tehran and Iran with violent demonstrations with clashes with the police. Yeah, Iran is going to fall. That's inevitable because it's just part of the natural stages of the war. We are at war with Iran. We are at war with Russia, and it's either them or us. It's not going to get better. Every time we try to do a deal with, it's very naive to think that we can do a deal with them because they want to destroy the West. So it's only the only thing we're doing is giving them chance to rearm and reload. So we should just finish the job, and I think we understand that. I would not believe publicly when they come out and say, yeah, we're going to stop for now. I think everything is planned. I think it's been planned for years. And yeah. Okay. Khomeini. Yeah, he came out of hiding and gave a speech. Evidently, he's in poor health. He's 89 years old. I think they want to capture him. That's the problem. You kill him, you create a martyr, or you replace him with people who are just as crazy as he is. He's picked 3 successors. So yes, there's some. The other thing that's coming up that Joel is talking about is that she and his wife are under arrest in China. Which is why they didn't show up at a summit in South America. It's very possible his own father was had to serve time. He was charged by the Communist Party in, I think it was 1950s, 60s. Yeah, so they have a way of turning on their own leaders. So we can definitely look at Xi today. Yeah, this is interesting. I think that they really believe that they're going to cut cost and try and work out a deal with Putin, which of course is impossible. The data shows he's the most dangerous man on earth. We have no choice. We have to take him out. Hi, Tabby Cat. Hello. Hi, beautiful Sybil. Good to see you here. Happy brunch to all. Happy brunch to all, and to all a good night. Yes, thank you. I don't know if everyone knows that we have a Book of the Month club, In Search of the Sun. In Search of the Sun. It's been written by the amazing Lisa Lowitz. We will be having Lisa in our studios July 16th. That's Tuesday, July 16th on Taco Tuesdays at 6 p.m. with Chuck Dransfield, and we look forward to speaking with her about her book. It's a book about finding yourself, your spiritual evolution, and it takes you on a journey of Japan and a woman's life, everything from falling in love to having a family, finding family, etc. And the way that she developed it is she organizes the spiritual development in terms of chakras. And I thought that that was really cool when I saw that. So I was very excited to include Lisa Lowitz's book in our Book of the Month club. So thank you, Lisa, for that. All right, let's keep going, saying hi to everybody. We have Tarot Task Backwards. Does Elon have someone in mind to be president if his new party goes off the ground, or will it be he? It's not going to be he, because he'd rather order somebody else around. He would probably fund, he might want to, is his name Yang? He would pick a libertarian. And he would probably pick somebody that is popular. I think Yang would be a good idea, because he agrees with a lot of Yang's, or he used to anyway. Oh, GOP Congress rep resigned today. Does he see the demise? Very good question. We can definitely get into that. All right. So last thing I wanted to mention is that we have started a new fundraiser this month. This month we are doing a fundraiser for senior dogs. Many senior dogs are in need of homes. And this is one of my favorite charities. I just feel so bad for dogs when they get thrown out onto the street, when they start to get, it's just such a terrible thing. It's what we do to seniors in this family, and it's what we do to our companions. And so this is a group out of Tennessee, and they create forever homes so that senior dogs can be loved and happy and enjoy their retirement years. So if you find anything today remotely entertaining, please think about donating to senior dogs, and it would be very much appreciated. So thank you for that. If you do decide to donate, it's much appreciated. Yeah, anything else I wanted to say? Somebody said they wanted to make an appointment, but they don't know about the time zone. Oh, here it is, Summer Breeze. Yeah, I'm in Portland, Oregon. And so right now it is 11:22 p.m. So if you're on the East Coast, I would be 3 hours behind you, just to let you know. So we also want to give condolences to everyone, the families in Texas who have lost loved ones during the tragedy of the floods. Unfortunately, these types of flash floodings, this kind of thing happens a lot in that part of the world. It's actually not a new phenomenon. There's been these types of problems for many years. It's just something that happens. The other thing that happens is that sometimes they'll get tidal waves. I don't know what year it was. You guys can go ahead and look it up. When a tidal wave came and took out the city of Galveston, I think it was sometime in the late 19th century, early 20th century. And was it 1912 when Galveston went underwater? The Galveston flood. 1900, the Galveston hurricane, also known as the Great Galveston Hurricane. This was really interesting. And my ex-husband actually had family members that passed away in that flood, so it's a rather scary thing to have happen. But evidently, within minutes, the city of Galveston was completely underwater, and absolutely terrifying. So it came in, it was 1900, and people literally crawled onto their roofs, and those few people that could escape onto their roofs did so. And yeah, so they put up a seawall in 1905. Look at that. Just came in and literally took out the entire city of Galveston. And I guess there was no warning. Look at that. Look at these pictures. There was no warning. And look at that. If you were lucky enough to be up in the higher areas of Galveston, you survived. There's the bodies. My God. So, yeah. The point is that these types of terrible tragedies, unfortunately, are all too common in that part of the world. You know, people will move somewhere to get away from violence, and then they'll have violence where they go. You know, they say, well, I'm going to leave Israel and go to America, and then they get shot. You know, so it's like I've heard a lot of stories like that where people leave one country and then they go to another and then they get robbed and killed. So it's kind of like this feeling of we just kind of have to take care of ourselves, be careful, but you also have to live your life, because you never know when or where these kinds of tragedies can happen. All right, so without further ado, I think we'll do the Empath's prayer, and we will give you a collective reading. We're going to look at the energy this week. We had talked about the fact that it looked like things were getting very hot in the world, particularly in August. We had some interesting cards. We had some interesting remote views. It's interesting. Lately, I've been feeling that they are going to take out Ali Khamenei, that he will be assassinated if they can't capture him. But I know that they don't want to do that because of the potential. I also think they're not telling the truth about regime change. I think they are planning a regime change. I'm really disappointed by what's going on in Ukraine, as I'm sure many of you are, the hits that took place in Kyiv. And again, it's a violation of what we know has to happen based on the science. So it's really scary when you see a government that's deviating from the data. Would you agree? So like if the data says Putin is the most dangerous person in the world, then you would think that the end result of that would be that we would do everything in our power to remove such a threat. And the reason why Putin was considered the most dangerous man in the world based on just hard data was because he had access to nuclear weapons, or he could create a dirty bomb by bombing the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the fact that he was threatening Western Europe, the fact that was nobody stopping him. What makes him dangerous is that there's no stopgap, right? Same with North Korea. But Putin, is even more dangerous because of the amount of arsenal he has. And in fact, his actions have cost the lives of over 1 million Russians and tens of thousands of Ukrainians as well. And he's now threatening Azerbaijan and other former Soviet bloc, former, like, where else was he threatening? Chechnya and Georgia and, yeah, a couple of places. So we can see, based on the data from the supercomputers, from the AI research, that if you don't want people to die, this is what negotiators need to focus on. Getting to ceasefire. This week they're talking about getting a ceasefire with Hamas, exchange of hostages with Hamas for the hostages. They're then taken in by a host country, and the people of Gaza can build their government without, fear that they're going to be invaded by a proxy army from Iran. And then the fourth phase, once we see that, we should be seeing the isolation of Putin, and Putin needs to be removed. So the biggest threat is, is Putin. He's even more important than Iranian leadership. I mean, Iran was firing on Israel 500 ballistic missiles, but the numbers are not as great as what we're just Ukraine alone. So Putin is really, I've looked at this multiple times, and you can go in and say, who is the most dangerous man, Xi, Putin, et cetera. And usually, I haven't seen the computer say anything other than Putin, because of who Putin is. And of course, as much as we've tried to make a deal with Russia and Iran for normal relations, the only thing they did as a result of that was use their money to build up proxy armies, fund the Houthis and Hezbollah in Lebanon and Syria and Hamas in Gaza, which has made life hell for the people of Gaza. So as a result, past performance, you got to look at people's past performance. They have no interest in making peace with the West. They want to dominate the West and destroy the West and dismantle the West. And being nice to them and giving them more money or giving them a house next door is not a rational way to deal with an enemy that wants to annihilate you. And so the regimes have to be dismantled. There simply is no other way to peace if we want to avoid World War III. And if we're looking at a doomsday clock being, a couple minutes to midnight, we pushed the doomsday clock back when we bombed Iran, but Iran is vowing to rebuild it. So again, somebody is trying to kill you and you shoot them in the toe. The only thing that's going to do is make them mad and more determined than ever to take you out. So it is really, the data simply doesn't show another option. And I know a lot of people don't want to go to war, but it's either that or we ourselves could be in a very bad situation. Simply, trust me, I don't want to go to war either, but that's basically what the remote view showed, and that is what the data showed. All right, so if you would like to receive a healing at this time, please give me your name and the name of someone you love if you need me to pray for them, and then we will include them in today's Empath prayer. If you know the Empath prayer, please say it with me. Of course, we also want to pray for the victims in the floods in Texas, along with everyone that's suffering in the world, whether it's due to war, hardship, poverty, or anything else. You are included in our prayers. Okay, if you know the prayer, please join me. We want to call on white light protection for ourselves and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. And for those of you who request healings at this time, we come together and we pray that you receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. May all souls be healed. All right. This is the collective reading for the week. This is based on this idea that we're all part of a collective consciousness. If any part of this reading doesn't apply to you, it's like a smorgasbord. You just say, I don't like rutabagas, and you just pass it down. I love rutabagas, by the way. Just pass it down to the next person. Yeah. Your reading for the week. What do you need to do? What do you need to know in order to have a great week? The best week of all. Let's take a look. Okay, where you are at right now, the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is that your ship is coming in. It's a good luck card. It means your wish has been granted. So the things that you desire, you will be able to manifest. Also, it's a 3-month period. So we're seeing that we're moving towards something positive. You're moving towards something positive in the next 3 months. And we're also talking about a lot of activity in the time of August. I feel that there is some kind of civil unrest that is happening in the United States, and people are worried. People are talking about store water, store toilet paper. I think that's the silliest thing. If you've got the money to be doing that, why don't you just buy a ticket and go to Mexico for 6 months? I'm going to gird our loins. We must gird our loins. And then I'm digging a tunnel. And I was like, this seems like an awful lot of work. Why don't you just put everything in storage? Maybe go to South America, Central America. You could probably get a sublet for half of what you're paying right now. And you could, you can just get a tourist visa. They usually give them for 3 to 6 months. And then you can just take the bus from Peru to Ecuador. It's very safe. These are, and you don't have to even be in the United States. It's actually quite affordable to just leave for a couple years if necessary. Yeah, a lot of people just keep moving. They'll stay in Peru for 3 to 6 months. You can just go and do an extension. They usually don't care. And then say, you know what, I think I'm going to take a bus and go to Ecuador, or take a plane to Argentina, etc., and join pet sitters and take care of somebody's dog for free rent and just leave. Some of those pet sitter jobs were for like 3 months, 3 months free rent in Peru, 3 months free rent in Ecuador, 3 months in Slovenia. So it's like, what the hell am I doing here? So strife is happening, but we could see people leaving the country, looking beyond the horizon. And, despite all the terrible stuff that's going on, or the rumors that are going on, I'm not getting this bad vibe over America. Quite the opposite. I'm feeling like jobs are going to be increasing between now and August. I feel that we could get to peace, and as a result, we could see a lot of inflation starts to come down. I'm just, yeah, there's going to be protest, but things just kind of work themselves out. I feel that things are going to work themselves out. Your first house at this time, fighting conflict. But what is the positive aspect of this card is that people are learning. Yeah, I would join house sitters, or I would join various different groups on Facebook, like they have expats of Merida, expats of Rosarita, expats of, you know, uh, of, and you can just talk to them and say, hey, does anybody have a sublet in Puerto Escondida for 3 months? Sure, $500. We got a villa. You can stay in our guest house, right? So that's what a lot of people do, and they just leave. So you have this Five of Wands, and it's this conflict. You can see also strife here, but at the same time, Five of Wands has a positive aspect, and the positive aspect is education and knowledge. So even though things may be difficult right now for many of you, there are lessons to be learned. You could be feeling like you're in a cage, the Nine of Wands. There's fighting everywhere. I'm feeling like I'm trapped. I've got to get out of here. You could take a bus to Mexico, right? You could San Diego. You can take a bus from San Diego to Rosarito, which is extremely safe next to Tijuana. You can drive along the coast. These are expat-friendly areas with low crime. Like I said, there's plenty of options. Slovenia, you can get you can get an apartment for $200 a month. A lot of health insurance is $100 a month. So a lot of people are like, I have more money traveling the world than I did staying in the United States, because many people feel staying in the United States is simply not affordable anymore. If you're paying for private insurance, $600 a month, and you can get the same insurance plan in France for $140 and go live in the south of France in a studio apartment for $500, $600 a month, why stay? And people really, also Portugal has some very great options for very easy to retire. Japan is now opened up to, there's just, you don't have to stay. You can work online. You can just go. People limit themselves, and they don't realize how easy it is to just leave. Like when I was in Merida, I got on a plane. It wasn't particularly, I think it was $300. You can, like I said, you can stay at Airbnbs, or you can house sit, and a gourmet meal with tip is $20. So it's like, why am I here? So many of you may choose, instead of digging a trench, you may choose to get on a bus and just say, you know what, I'm going to go spend a little time in Central America. I'm going to take my dog. I'm going to take my car or whatever. I'm just going to get out of Dodge for a while. Because there is this feeling when you go into the collective of Nine of Wands, and that could be that the individual feels trapped. We're also seeing the constriction of money. Four of Pentacles for many of you. Hold your coin, hold your coin. Could be an indication not to be buying stocks right now, not to be purchasing a home right now. See this Eight of Swords all tied up. I know I'm gotten to pay my taxes. I'm dealing with this right now with taxes. Taxes are high. We're watching our coin. We're cooking from scratch. We're saving our money. I do see tremendous knowledge is coming from this. Every cloud has a silver lining. And for you, you've grown tremendously over the last couple of years. I know some of you, and I've spoken with some of you, but you can see this juxtaposition of Five of Wands, which is also an education card, and the Scholar. So when the world falls apart, what do human beings do? They try to figure out why. Why is the world falling apart? Have I contributed? How can I fix the problem? So despite how difficult things are, we're learning quite a bit at this time. And I see you posing a new beginning. The Page of Wands comes. Page of Wands is an opportunity to think outside the box. It is the Aries child, it is the pioneer. It's also the chameleon who changes. You can see the chameleon is a design on the Page of Wands. Make sure if you are at the Elders and Empaths level to be here at 5 p.m. We will be starting our Mystical Tarot series, class 2. We are going through the major arcana, and we're also learning Hebrew and the significance of Kabbalah in the Tarot. So 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time at the Elders and Empaths level. But you can see Page of Wands is coming in, a new beginning for you. And take it slow and be conservative with your funds right now. You can see the nice, stable Taurus energy that goes nowhere. So they're discouraging you from making any major decisions. And we can see the obstacle here is the 10 of Pentacles. So family dynamics. If 10 of Pentacles is an obstacle, it could be genetics, family history, or family conflict. So you want to be discreet with family and not always tell your family what you're up to, because you may be having issues with family. Your hope and fear, your own strength, your own determination, your own need to establish boundaries. And the final outcome is that your ethics and your connection to source are ultimately what protects you during hard times. We will all die. It's not something that can be avoided. We all die, right? But how did you live? And Hierophant is about looking towards the Godhead or the ethos or higher consciousness at this time to learn what you can and to contribute what you can, to be frugal, make no major financial decisions. A new beginning awaits you. Use this time as an opportunity to learn and grow and connect to source. Your clarification is that your wishes will be granted. You can manifest anything you like. Well, some people, Renee, feel that not everyone has the money to stay. You know, if you only have $1,000 a month, your life condition would be better in Panama or Guadalajara than the United States. You'd be saving money by going to Guadalajara. You'd have a better quality of life. And a lot of people work online. Your opposition is devastated, 10 of Swords. I don't think that the people who are destroying this country have a good future. The people that were greedy, I think the billionaires will fall, because the opposition, also issues you had with maybe abusive family members. Abusive people tend to have bad deaths. You know, they end up, somebody murders them, or, you know, if you get on a wavelength of negativity and hostility, you tend to attract it, because that's the world you live in. But we see this interesting opposition is just being laid low while your wishes are granted. This is your house. Your opposition is the 8th house. The hope and fear, heartbreak. So I think that many people are just genuinely heartbroken about what they see happening in the world: war, strife, division. And the final outcome is addiction, codependency. This can be cults. For example, Trump is a cult. So it's also important for us to really be careful about not getting sucked into dogma at this time. Because if you look at Hierophant and Devil together, this could be a negative aspect of dogma. And so for that reason, the big threat here is that people become frightened. They become, they hunker down into a kind of fearful stance, and then they begin to cling to their dogma. And that is the biggest risk at this time. I'll do one more clarification. I see the winds of war. I see war around us and people feeling like that more and more of your land is being lost, more stuff is being taken away. And there he is again. He keeps showing up, the King of Wands. It's like the seed of Judah, King David, David Melech Israel, right? It's this strong energy of the tribe of Judah comes. It's so I for every action there's a reaction. If it's a hostile action, you're going to get a hostile response. I feel that a new leader emerges and is the antidote to this. And it keeps happening. You see this war happening against the millionaires and billionaires. Sun comes out, excuse me, and then you have this King of Wands, this war king that keeps showing up. And I don't know why I see that, but it has repeatedly come up that there is a man coming that will be able to take on the millionaires and win. The billionaires and the millionaires. $1 million isn't that much, Not anymore. All right. That is your reading. Take care of yourself. No major investments at this time. If you can afford to put everything in storage and get out of town, you might want to do that if you're upset right now. Go over to Rosarito. Connect with all of the expats on Facebook. Maybe make some friends. Ask them what life is like in the city you're thinking about going to. Do some homework and see if it's going to be cheaper for you to stay or cheaper for you to leave. Yeah. Many of you who are retired may find that it's actually cheaper to leave. Cheers, everyone. L'chaim, l'chaim. All right. Without further ado, when we get the order, we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure and like and subscribe to the stream. As we slowly limp towards 100K. It's happening, people. It's happening. It's gonna happen. I believe. Yes, I believe. And of course, since we are raising funds for senior dogs today, think about adoption and fostering if you have a little space in your home, and if you got a couple nickels, it would be great also to donate. It's a worthy cause. So thank you everyone for that. All right, we're going to go back to the top and get to all these questions that have been nicely arranged by Joel. Thank you, Joel. So who here is not holding out much hope for Ghislaine Maxwell? No? Not believing it? I don't believe it either. She's such a horrible person. She complained about the manners and the behavior of the street kids who had been abused in childhood. Oh, they don't know how to use neither would you if you were a foster kid. Oh, they're such scummy little people. So you decided to rape them? I mean, this is really the best example of an aristocrat. If you truly believe that the other is not human or less human than you, this is really the anatomy of evil, according to Hannah Arendt. Is the first thing you must do is you must reduce their humanity. You have to say that they're a pig or they're swine, etc., etc. And at that point, you don't see them as a person, you see them as an animal, or etc. And then it's easier to kill them, torture them, because they're not human like I'm a human. And this is what you see in Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, we're not as special as she is. Yeah, we're not one of life's special people. The special people are entitled to more rights than you and I because they're superior. Like Prince Andrew, he's superior. That's why he's not imprisoned on multiple counts of pedophilia. He's sitting in Buckingham Palace instead, right? Because he's superior and you're inferior, right? Ghislaine, walking away, she lost everything. 8 of Cups. She really thought it was silly and ridiculous. She thought that this whole entire thing was silly and ridiculous, that people are clueless about those girls, and we treated them better than their own parents did. This is a real denial. And instead, she may see herself as a victim. I lost everything, and I cooperated with the feds, and I still lost everything. So she may still hold on to this idea that she is the victim. She is somebody who lost everything, and her opposition, the King of Wands, right? So she has this war king going after her. There are people, there's a new kid in town. There's a new kid that wants her prosecuted. So the old ways are gone. So maybe in the past they were VIP and they were, laughing and having orgies with politicians and filming everything and blackmailing everybody. But now there's this new guy on the block and he wants them prosecuted. So the rules have changed. 6 of Cups, she may want a treaty or a deal. She thinks that she's going to get off and then be able to go back to Britain or Europe or France or wherever. So it's this, I give you information, 6 of Cups, and then you let me go. That she could be extradited or, come on, I'm an aristocrat. I don't belong here with these peasants. Please. Oh, I'll give you a little something, even though you were in on it the whole time, right? So her cooperation is coming with this idea for possibly an international to be extradited somewhere. She will expose. She is going to expose people. That's true. Over the issue of her trying, she has hidden money, 2 of Pentacles. She may have put money in offshore. She's got money and she's hiding it. Probably crypto, offshore accounts, Panama. She probably knows where some of Epstein's money is. But this is somebody who's got money, and it may not be. She may not be totally transparent with the feds. Yeah, they want further charges against her. So from their perspective, well, you could cooperate, and then I'll be released. No, you won't be charged with more crimes, because they're building up more cases: espionage, spying on the United States, money laundering. They're building more cases against her because this is the courts coming in. We want to get you some more. So it's this back and forth. Well, I'll tell you all the debt, and then you're going to, after a couple of years, you're going to send me back to Paris. I've got a villa in Paris to get to, right? Whereas they're saying, you either tell us everything or we're going to charge you with more crimes. So yeah. She also is having a health crash coming. She's got the tower there. But what's interesting is the sun is over the tower. You know what? I'm more inclined to believe that it's an expose that causes a mass explosion. This could be that they decide, well, it's time to take out Trump, so we'll just release the bombshell, because the sun is over her, which can often be an expose, and then the tower. So it could just be that the world rocks when she starts openly talking about things, which we all know anyway. We all know that Trump went to these parties and even helped arrange them because he's a sick puppy, right? But this looks possibly like an exposure happens, and it's going to be a bombshell. And this could be what takes down the aristocrats in the United States. Thank you. All right. Enforcer is reporting shootings throughout Tehran and Iran, with violent demonstrations clashing with police. Let's take a look, because they say Iranians are not revolutionary by nature. They tend to not want to fight because they've been indoctrinated to comply for so long. So getting them out into the street is a big deal. Tehran right now is that which was hidden will be revealed. I also see the rising of women in Tehran. You know, it's the mystical woman, it's the exposure, the opposition, the devil, right? A cult. The devil can be a cult or an addiction or codependency to it's increasingly seen as toxic. It's increasingly seen as foreign to the people. Hopes and fears, taking the weapons of war away from the enemy and strife with the devil. I think it's pretty obvious what that's about. And the people being chained or a feeling. So it's going to get worse before it gets better. People may feel that it's getting worse rather than better. Right now, it looks like the devil is winning. Khomeini is winning. Temperance. There could be a new contract. You know what's interesting? It could be that they keep the Khomeini position in power, but a new law goes into effect which dramatically reduces his powers in the new Iran. So instead of outright killing him, they strip him of his powers, and then he becomes more like a token figure. This is the only way that this system would be able to survive in Iran. Yeah, is that they will have to modify the position no longer as a leader, but just as a spiritual leader. It's disappointing to see that because I really want to see the fall of Khomeini as soon as possible. Is he still in hiding? Let's take a look at his future. He came out of hiding to give a speech. I don't know. Let's take a look. Thank you, Joel, for arranging the questions. Very helpful today. Oops. Khomeini, he is in jail. Yes, he is still in semi-hiding. He doesn't trust the people that are protecting him. His opposition is growing. You can see the Eight of Wands, which is the strife card. It's also associated with August. As he becomes increasingly isolated, you can see his opposition is rising right around the time of August, strife in August. His position in the world, the fact that the world did not come to help him is also pretty telling. And then the final outcome is heartbreak for him. You know, this is a guy who feels betrayed or heartbroken because his allies did not come and rescue him, the weapons of war. You know what? They really want to arrest him. You can see this Five of Wands here, and this is like prison. And this new partnerships in the opposition. So recognizing the opposition, he may attempt to flee. Look at this, fleeing like a thief. The world. He may attempt to be smuggled out. They may attempt to smuggle him out, possibly through Afghanistan or, well, that would make sense. He can get out through Afghanistan, Pakistan, and then attempt to get to either Russia or China. But you can see there's an attempt. He thinks he has to flee. And then the final outcome is 10 of Cups. You know what? He could attempt to take his family out of Iran. Yeah. I think he's going to try and take a run for it. I think his intelligence is telling him that there's no way the Israelis are going to stop. You know, it's in the Talmud. When somebody comes to kill you, you kill them first. You don't shoot them in the foot, because the only thing that happens is that they recover, and then the next time they're going to succeed. If a person is hell-bent on killing you, they've got the bomb, take them out. If you can't lay hands on them and arrest them and charge them, you just have to take them out. He knows it. This guy is going to attempt to escape. You can see here, escaped world, goes somewhere else with his family. He's heartbroken. He feels betrayed, like he was cheated on by his own people. Like, why didn't my allies come to defend me? You can see also he already feels that he's in jail. his opposition is getting organized globally, and you can see this raw strife. I would be very surprised because of this if he didn't attempt to smuggle himself out of the country. Because let's look at what happened to Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein when they stuck around, right? They ended up getting caught. So he may feel that his only way to make sure that doesn't happen is to attempt to go underground and escape. I would assume through Pakistan, Afghanistan, into Russia. Crazy cards, crazy cards. There are reports President Xi and wife are under arrest in China. Yes, I think they are. He was under investigation for corruption. We did a remote view on that a while ago. And also links to private accounts with money. So that's what they had him on originally, was possible bribes. But let's take a look at the future of Xi and his wife. Evidently, they were going to attempt to escape. Boy, goodbye, Xi. Tyrants fall. He started off very hopeful, you know. People had a good feeling about him. He was educated. He went to Iowa State. You know, he was educated in the United States. People were very optimistic, but you know, look what happened. Xi and his wife, what is their future? War, violence, arrest. It is not going well for Xi. Very bad omen for Xi. This could be war. It's like police raid or something like that. His he's devastated. He's been betrayed. If they found $30 million in his bank account because he was doing business with the CIA or something like that, he's going down. This is what they accused the Dalai Lama of, that he had $1 million that was transferred from the CIA, and then it came out that it was true. And I spoke to one of his followers. How do you feel about the fact that he took $1 million from the CIA? And his follower said, well, they finally gave the money to the right person to maintain him in exile, etc. So they were supporting his movement. But hopes and fears, sober times for Xi. And the final outcome for Xi is he will be disarmed, 5 of Swords. So he will no longer be the president of China. Is he the president or the prime minister? I think he's the president. So he's finished. You can see taking the weapons of war. He was betrayed. You know, it's they turned on him, and I think a lot of it had to do with they're using the corruption line, but the truth of the matter is, I think it had to do with the fact that they were close to war, and the fact that he didn't handle certain things, the economy, what was going on with COVID, etc., and a lot of that stuff he got blamed for. All right, we're looking now at Hegseth and his relationship with Ukraine. Hegseth and his relationship with Ukraine. What is going on with Ukraine? Is Zelensky going to survive, or are we going to see the collapse of Ukraine? This has gone on a long time, people. Ukraine, right now, war. There's war over Ukraine. The opposition. Secrets, the family. You know, he's got possibly people that are pro. They just got rid of the head of the Ukrainian church for being an ally of Russia. So could be that the family is the betrayer. So they could be seeing families torn apart. Some of them are pro-Russian in Crimea, some are not. So you can see that the enemy is from within to some extent. The hope and fear for Ukraine, Putin. Putin's a Gemini? Air sign? Oh, Libra? Aquarius? Probably a Libra. They have a warped sense of justice, but air sign male. And then the final outcome for Ukraine is the star of Ukraine. The star is over Ukraine. I was wondering what the star was, if it was a country with a star. Evidently, they're saying the star is Ukraine. And on God, we're seeing a rallying of Ukraine. Russia is dismantled. Putin is broke, Two of Pentacles, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. And the final outcome, Ukraine wins and is victorious within 6 months. Six of Wands, victory. Ukraine wins. Well, that was pretty gosh darn simple to read. I do believe, yes. Hi, Tarot back ass word. Tarot task backwards. Does Elon have someone in mind to be president? What's his name? Yang? I think Yang is somebody we all actually would. Some of us would vote for Yang. I don't know if I would, but if you're a libertarian that wants an ethical libertarian, you might go with Yang. What's his Yang's first name? Let's take a look. Who is Elon going to pick? It'd have to be somebody that he could control, and that would be difficult with somebody like Yang. Six of Pentacles. This is something that surprised me about Elon, was that he wants people to have a guaranteed wages of like a couple thousand a month for basic needs, rent, etc. So he, despite the fact that Doge was going in and cutting things, he believes in a mandatory salary, just like Yang. So it's a little confusing why, from the profits. So say, for example, we sell $1 trillion in business. The money is going back to the companies and to the United States, but we also have a right to a portion of the sale as Americans. So we get a portion of the sale for the people. So that's actually optimistic. The opposition is King of Wands again. You can see the cards keep repeating themselves and saying that there is a man, possibly a fire sign, that will rise up and is going to, what sign is Buddha Judge? I don't know who this guy is, but you guys see the cards. Every damn time I throw, this guy shows up. I have no idea who it is. Buddha Judge, he's got that thing with his marriage where he's, he doesn't want to be president. He doesn't want to run. It's too hard on his family, which I totally get. I'd feel the same way if I was him. Did I forget to put lipstick on? Yeah, I did. That's weird. And the hopes and the fears? Constriction. It's because Elon himself felt constricted. They got rid of some of his programs. So he himself is being phased out of the government. Final outcome for him is grief. I think he's going to have a real hard time starting this America First. He wants to fund somebody. He's going to be met with tremendous, I don't think he's going to do well here. I think he needs to get back to just being a businessman and get out of politics, because not only is he not going to succeed, but he could wind up with the authorities going after him. He's got that emperor right over him, and that is not auspicious. You don't want the president giving you grief. Also, he's got this death and 8 of Swords. So I don't know. I don't think this is good at all. Election fraud. Well, isn't it obvious at this point? Haven't they done data collection proving it's scientifically impossible? What happened? I think it's pretty horrible if it's true. Election fraud, Elon, confusion. I see a lot of confusion over Elon. He doesn't know what he's doing. His obstacle, death and transformation, hopes and fears, his business. Queen of Pentacles is one's business. And then the final outcome is he has a health crisis. Archangel Raphael comes to him. I worry about him having an addiction, heroin or fentanyl or something like that, opioids, right? Because as painkillers. So that is what we see there. Well, my sister and I are going to lunch. We have not seen each other for, Andy Bashir, Sagittarius. Interesting. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody is coming. And is he a Capricorn? He always presents as the Knight of Pentacles, so that doesn't surprise me. America hates a bot president. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that a lot's going to be happening because you're seeing that he's tearing apart the Republican Party. So, good on Newsom, Gloria. That's great. Oh, he's on the cusp with Aquarius. Nice. Yeah, he always comes as the Knight of Pentacles, so I'd be surprised to see him as anything else. All right, you guys, I have to go because my sister's going to be in 15 minutes and I got to get ready. Did you guys have fun? Man, that went fast. That was an hour and 15 minutes. I feel like I just sat down and boom, it's over. All right, if you're trying to get in for a reading with me, I will be back at work tomorrow. So if you'd like to make an appointment, just be sure and check out all the information below. You can book me through Booksy. If you need a quick taped reading, you can get it through Wizio. I think that's all I have for you. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. I will see you all next time. Thank you, guys. Much love. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye.